Hello, this is Krista here again, and today I want to talk about symptoms of complex PTSD and of abuse survivors. Okay, complex trauma is still kind of new in the field of psychology. This type of trauma is more profound in abuse survivors because of the repeated trauma that is created on a daily basis when you live, work, or are around someone constantly who suffers from a cluster B disorder, also referred to as the abuser. I will get into the abuser types that fall under the cluster B disorders later. Most CPTSD occurs when a victim is traumatized in captivity, where there is no perceived way to escape. Number one is gaining a deep fear of trust. When you are living with an abuser, their ongoing abuse lessens a big normal trust level in the victim. Number two, terminal awareness. Number two, terminal aloneness. Because the survivor often feels no trust, they feel little or no connection and feel further alone, therefore not being able to connect with others on healthy levels. Emotional regulation, number three. Intense emotions are common with CPTSD. Ongoing abuse can cause many different and intense emotions. It becomes their norm. Later on, as the victim can get out of the situation and begin to heal, can they be taught to manage these symptoms. Number four, emotional flashbacks. Because most abusers will use emotional abuse to drain us on deep levels, causing tremendous feelings of pain to traumatic levels, victims can relive the feelings of hurt and discomfort in the body. These can come up and are called triggers, where we can relive it anytime something arises, this pain that we haven't fully processed inside of ourselves yet. Usually these triggers can come up at inappropriate times or inappropriate situations. Number five, hypervigilance about people. This occurs as when we had to deal with an abuser's constant triggered state, we had to protect ourselves by trying to calm them down. Before the abuse would begin to increase, we would constantly search for signs in body language, tones of voices, and facial expressions, constantly learning their behaviors and cues as to when they would next go into attack mode. Number six, loss of faith. When a victim is abused, they begin to give up on themselves and the world around them as they are constantly knocked down in every way. We just stop believing in ourselves and even maybe the good we believed in to help us and save us. Oh, excuse me. I hope that's not contagious. They begin to look at the world as a more dangerous place and later in life attract more of the same because of the mindset that was driven into us as children. Number seven, profoundly hurt inner child. Usually, even if seen or not, whether the abuse was more outright or subtle, our abuse usually began and developed as more of a victim mentality mindset as we were children. As we grow further into healing, we can teach ourselves to nurture and heal that hurt inner child inside of us. Number eight, helplessness and toxic shame. During ongoing abuse, we develop a sense of hopelessness with the feeling nothing will ever be okay. This usually develops on a core belief level through life. Toxic shame is another thing we endure, as often perpetrators blame it all on us and made us feel like we deserved the mistreatment. Survivors of sexual abuse were left with even more painful layers of shame, with feelings left of being dirty, damaged, or disgusting. Number 9, repeated search for a rescuer. Many look their whole lives for someone, a hero, to fix it and rescue them. It can continue even after the abuse is over. We can feel such a deep helplessness and become the victims for even further abuse, and will attract even more abusers that are good at acting like the hero, but little being able to fulfill that mission for the other person, creating even more trauma in the end. Number 10, disassociation. During abuse, the brain will utilize disassociation as a coping method. Often the mind will dream up what's happening isn't real and can dream up fantasies that help them feel better during the abuse, as we are taught during the abuse that nothing is wrong. Number 11, persistent sadness and feeling suicidal. These states can be ongoing for many of us, as we are left feeling such large states of helplessness and hopelessness and no real sense of control. We were never taught how to help ourselves. It can feel unbearable, and our thoughts can lead to any means of escape, even with thoughts of suicide for a last option. Number 12, muscle armoring. This is body hypervigilance, where the body is constantly tense and braced for further trauma, even when the perpetrator isn't around anymore. This state can cause pain as the muscles are overworked. Chronic pain and fatigue can result as our bodies are left in a more repeated state of fight or flight, which is a basic survival method we all have. It is important during this stage to seek help on how to relieve these symptoms with therapy, mindfulness, practicing DBT skills, dialectal therapy skills, using much love, compassion, and gentleness and forgiveness for yourself as you go through this. And many blessings to you today. Thank you. Thanks for listening.